Dawn breaks over a world lost to time. A frigid mist clings to the ground, a silent white ocean across the vast plains of the Pleistocene. The air, sharp and cold enough to steal your breath, carries the scent of frost and damp earth. In the frozen mud, a series of colossal depressions mark the passage of a true giant. Each print is a crater, wider than a human hand, pressed deep into the soil. This is the trail of a master predator. From the swirling fog, a shape materializes. It moves with a low, deliberate power, muscle and sinew bunching beneath a coat of thick, tawny fur. It's a saber-toothed tiger, Smilodon, fatalis, Its head is massive, its shoulders a bulwark of pure strength. As it lifts its head to test the air, its mouth opens slightly, almost lazily, revealing the weapons that made it a legend. Two enormous, curved fangs, like polished ivory daggers, gleam in the pale morning light. They aren't just teeth, they are instruments of a swift, brutal end. Its eyes, the color of cold amber, scan the horizon. They are not the eyes of a simple animal. They are the eyes of an apex hunter, intelligent, calculating, and locked onto a target we cannot yet see. The focus is absolute, the stillness before the storm. This is the ruler of the Ice Age, a creature at the very peak of its power. And then it's gone. The mist, the tiger, the frozen plain all vanish. We are left staring at an empty, modern landscape. The same land, perhaps, but now silent, tame. A ghost of a world that once was. This hunter, this titan of the Ice Age, once held dominion over this very ground. It was the undisputed king, a walking embodiment of predatory perfection. Then, in the grand cosmic blink of an eye, it disappeared forever. How could a creature so powerful, so perfectly adapted to its world, simply vanish from the face of the earth? To understand its fall, we must first understand its reign. Welcome to the Pleistocene epoch, a world of giants. This was not the familiar, gentle wilderness of today. This was a land of epic proportions, roamed by creatures that stagger the imagination. Towering mammoths, their tusks curving 10 feet into the air, moved in great herds that shook the very ground. Giant ground sloths, weighing more than a pickup truck, ambled through the forests, ripping branches from trees with massive claws. Herds of ancient bison, larger and more formidable than their modern descendants, covered the plains like a moving sea. For Smilodon, this was a world of opportunity, a veritable feast. But with great reward came great risk. Every shadow could conceal a threat. Packs of dire wolves, relentless and cunning, competed for every kill. The short-faced bear, a behemoth that could look a human in the eye while on all fours, was a terrifying rival, capable of stealing a hard-won meal or ending a Smilodon's life with a single swipe of its paw. Survival in this world wasn't just about strength. It was a daily, brutal chess match. Every hunt was a life-or-death gamble. Smilodon was not a creature built for chasing down swift prey over long distances like a cheetah. Its body tells a different story. Look at its skeleton. The forelimbs are incredibly robust, the chest deep and powerful. This was an ambush predator, a master of the surprise attack. It would have used cover-tall grasses, dense thickets, rocky outcrops to stalk its prey, getting impossibly close. The hunt would have been an explosion of power, a short, terrifying burst of speed, and then impact. It would launch its muscular body onto its victim, using its immense upper body strength to wrestle the giant beast to the ground. And then came the killing blow, the moment that defined the saber-tooth. Those legendary canines were surprisingly fragile. They were not designed for crushing bone or struggling against a thrashing animal. Instead, paleontologists believe Smilodon used its powerful neck and jaw muscles for a precise, specialized strike. After pinning its prey, it would deliver a deep, shearing bite into the soft, vulnerable throat. The goal was to sever major blood vessels, causing rapid blood loss and a quick, relatively clean kill. It was a brutal, but incredibly efficient form of execution. This hunting strategy reveals a key aspect of Smilodon's life. It was likely a social animal. Taking down a multi-ton bison or a juvenile mammoth was an immense undertaking, even for such a powerful cat. Hunting in prides, much like modern lions, would have dramatically increased their success rate. Fossil evidence from sites like the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles supports this idea. The remains of many Smilodon individuals are found together, some with healed injuries, broken bones, and deep wounds that would have been fatal for a solitary hunter. These healed injuries suggest that injured cats were cared for, or at least tolerated, by their group. They shared their kills, protected each other, and raised their young together. This social structure was a critical component of their success, allowing them to dominate the prehistoric food chain for hundreds of thousands of years. So, we have this picture of an incredibly successful predator, powerful, specialized, and socially sophisticated. It was perfectly tuned to its environment, the Ice Age megafauna. For millennia, this formula worked, but the world is never static. As the Pleistocene drew to a close, around 10,000 years ago, the climate began to change dramatically. The great ice sheets that had covered much of North America started to retreat. Temperatures rose, forests replaced grasslands, and the environment was fundamentally altered. This climate shift had a catastrophic effect on the giant herbivores that Smilodon depended on. The mammoths, the mastodons, the giant ground sloths, their food sources disappeared. Their habitats shrank, and they began to die out. This was the first domino to fall in the chain reaction that led to Smilodon's extinction. As its prey vanished, the saber-tooth's primary food source was pulled out from under it. Its entire evolutionary strategy, its massive build, its specialized killing teeth all were designed for hunting megafauna. But climate change wasn't the only new factor on the scene. Another highly adaptable, intelligent predator was also spreading across the continent: humans. Armed with spears, fire, and sophisticated group hunting strategies, early humans were formidable competitors. They hunted the same large animals as Smilodon. There's ongoing debate about the extent of the human impact, the overkill hypothesis, but it's undeniable that the arrival of humans put additional, intense pressure on the already struggling megafauna populations. Smilodon was caught in a perfect storm. Its prey was disappearing due to climate change, and it was facing competition from a new, incredibly versatile predator. Its specialization became its weakness. While smaller, more agile predators like pumas and jaguars could adapt by hunting smaller prey like deer and rabbits, Smilodon was too big, too slow, and too specialized. Its powerful body was built for wrestling giants, not for chasing nimble prey. Its fangs were instruments for a specific type of kill, less effective on smaller animals. The very traits that had made it a king now sealed its doom. It was an evolutionary dead end. The final days of the Saber-Tooth Tiger must have been desperate. Imagine the last prides, roaming a landscape where the thundering herds had been replaced by silence. The hunts would have become scarcer, more desperate. The healed fractures seen in fossils might not just be from hunting injuries, but from violent confrontations with rivals over dwindling resources. The social bonds that had once been their strength may have frayed under the immense pressure of starvation. The last saber-toothed tiger didn't die in a blaze of glory. It likely died hungry, isolated, in a world that no longer had a place for it. The story of Smilodon is more than just a tale of a cool, prehistoric monster. It's a profound lesson in evolution and extinction. It shows us that no matter how powerful, how dominant, or how perfectly adapted a species is, no reign is permanent. Specialization is a double-edged sword. It can lead to incredible success, but it can also lead to catastrophic failure when the world changes. The saber-toothed tiger's ghost haunts our planet, a silent reminder that survival is not about being the strongest, but about being the most adaptable to change. Its legacy is written not in stone, but in absence, the echo of a roar that will never be heard again. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell to join us on our next exploration. In the heart of the Pleistocene, a world sculpted by ice and wind, a new generation begins. Tucked away from prying eyes, nestled deep within a fortress of tall grasses and weathered rock, lies a secret. Here, a litter of saber-toothed cubs, Smilodon fatalis, takes its first breaths. They are tiny, blind, and utterly dependent, their coats a dappled camouflage against the sun-drenched earth. Their world is a small one, defined by the warmth of their siblings and the constant, reassuring presence of their mother. She is a formidable guardian, a master of her domain. Her iconic canines, the very symbol of her species, are not just for hunting. They are a clear warning to any who would dare approach her den. Her amber eyes constantly scan the horizon, her ears twitching at the slightest sound. Every rustle in the grass, every distant call, is analyzed and assessed. She is a fortress of muscle and instinct, and for these first few vulnerable weeks, her vigilance is the only thing standing between her cubs and the harsh realities of the Ice Age. The cubs, oblivious to the dangers, know only her scent, the low rumble of her purr, and the rich milk that sustains them. The days melt into weeks, and with each passing sun, the cubs transform. Their eyes, once sealed shut, now peer out at the world with a burgeoning curiosity. Their tiny, clumsy bodies are gaining strength. The den, once their entire universe, is becoming a playground. Playfighting erupts in chaotic bursts of energy. Clumsy pounce here, a soft bite there. It may look like simple fun, but these are the first lessons in a saber-tooth's life. They are learning to stalk, to ambush, to test their strength against one another. Their mother watches, patient and tolerant, occasionally joining in with a gentle paw to guide their developing skills. Let's take a closer look at their incredible development. Inside their mouths, the future is taking shape. Tiny bumps on their gums are the promise of the formidable weapons to come. The famed saber-like canines won't fully emerge for many months, but the foundation is being laid. Their paws, currently soft and padded, are already disproportionately large, hinting at the power they will one day hold. Watch as they wrestle. You can see the muscles in their shoulders and forelimbs beginning to ripple. These powerful front limbs will be crucial for pinning down massive prey like bison and ground sloths. Every tumble and playful swat is a step towards becoming the apex predator of their time. Unlike many of today's big cats, the journey to independence for a saber-tooth is a long and arduous one. Their slow maturity is a key part of their life strategy. Growing those immense canines and the powerful body needed to wield them takes time and a tremendous amount of energy. For well over a year, possibly even 2, these cubs will rely entirely on their mother. She must not only protect them, but also provide for their voracious appetites, bringing back kills from her solitary hunts. This extended childhood is a period of intense learning, where they watch their mother, absorbing every detail of the hunt, how to read the wind, how to approach prey unseen, and where to deliver the precise, fatal bite. This bond is their lifeline, but this prehistoric nursery is far from a peaceful sanctuary. Danger is a constant neighbor. In the shadows lurk other giants of the Ice Age. A dire wolf pack, ever opportunistic, sniffs the air, drawn by the scent of the den. Their haunting howls echo across the plains, a stark reminder that the saber-tooth family is not alone. High above, a monstrous Teratornis, a giant condor-like bird, circles on thermal winds, its keen eyes searching for any sign of weakness or an unguarded moment. Even a lone American lion, a rival apex predator, may patrol the edges of the territory, its presence a silent challenge. The mother's senses are on high alert. Her posture shifts, a low growl vibrating deep in her chest. She moves to position herself between her cubs and the direction of the perceived threat. The cubs, sensing the change in her demeanor, fall silent, their play forgotten. They press close to her, seeking the safety of her powerful frame. This is a daily drama, a tense ballet of survival, played out on the vast stage of the Pleistocene. The mother's experience and strength are constantly tested. One mistake, one moment of inattention could mean the end for her lineage. As the seasons turn, the cubs continue to grow. They are bolder now, venturing further from the den under their mother's watchful gaze. Their dappled coats have started to fade into a more uniform tawny color, better suited for the open grasslands they will soon inhabit. Their practice hunts have become more serious, their targets now lizards and small rodents that stray too close. Their movements are becoming more fluid, more coordinated. The clumsy, tumbling kittens are slowly being replaced by sleek young predators in training. Their signature canines have begun to emerge, small but unmistakable daggers that they are still learning to manage. Sometimes they trip over them, a comical but necessary part of their development. They are discovering the power in their jaws and the strength in their forelimbs, pinning each other down with surprising force during their sparring matches. Their mother now leads them on short excursions, teaching them the lay of the land, the secret paths through the brush, and the locations of vital water sources. Each lesson is critical, a piece of the puzzle they must solve to survive. The world they are inheriting is one of dramatic change and immense challenge. It is a world of giant herbivores, formidable prey that will require immense strength and cooperation to bring down. It is a world of fierce competition, where every meal is earned and every territory is defended. For these young saber-tooths, the path ahead is long and uncertain. They must master the skills their mother teaches them, perfect their unique hunting technique, and navigate the complex social dynamics of their species. Watching them, we are witnessing the continuation of a dynasty that ruled for millennia. Their story is one of resilience, of adaptation, and of the powerful, enduring bond between a mother and her young. In their playful pounces and growing fangs, we see the legacy of the Smilodon icon of the Ice Age, a master of the hunt, and a testament to the incredible saga of life on our planet. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey back in time. If you were captivated by the world of these incredible saber-tooth cubs, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more amazing stories from the prehistoric world. We'll see you on the next adventure. The Ice Age, a world of giants, cloaked in ice and ruled by titans, and among them, one predator stands supreme, a phantom of the frozen plains, the Saber-Tooth Tiger, Smilodon, Fatalis, But this wasn't a tiger, and its power wasn't just in its iconic fangs. This was a different kind of killer, a master of the ambush. Imagine the scene, a vast, wind-swept steppe. A herd of colossal Colombian mammoths trudges through the snow, their breath misting in the frigid air. Nearby, a herd of ancient bison, their shaggy coats thick against the cold, graze on the sparse vegetation, and watching, unseen, is the Smilodon. It's not a creature built for long, grueling chases like a wolf or a cheetah. Look at its body. It's built like a bear, low to the ground, with immensely powerful forelimbs and a short, bobbed tail. This anatomy tells a story. It speaks of explosive power, not endurance. The Smilodon didn't run down its prey. It let its prey come to it, hunkered down in the tall grasses or behind a rocky outcrop. Its spotted coat provides the perfect camouflage against the dappled light of the prehistoric landscape. Patience is its greatest weapon. It can wait for hours, motionless, a coiled spring of muscle and instinct. Its senses are on high alert, analyzing the herd, searching for the perfect target, the young, the old, the isolated. Today, a lone giant ground sloth, a megatherium, ambles away from the safety of its group. It's a formidable creature in its own right, towering and armed with massive claws. But it is slow, and it is alone. This is the opportunity the Smilodon has been waiting for. The stalk begins. It moves with a ghostly silence, belly low to the ground, using every dip and rise in the terrain to stay hidden. Each step is deliberate, placing its paws carefully to avoid snapping a twig or dislodging a stone. It's a nerve-wracking advance, a deadly game of inches where a single mistake means a lost meal and wasted energy. The wind is in its favor, carrying its scent away from its unsuspecting quarry. Now, it's within striking distance. The muscles in its powerful hind legs tense, gathering energy for the final, explosive assault. The Smilodon's massive, muscular forelimbs are its secret weapons. These are arms designed for grappling, for pinning down creatures many times its own size. The sloth thrashes, its own powerful claws flailing, but the Smilodon's grip is like a vice. Now, and only now, do the famous sabers come into play. These are not the all-purpose tools of a modern cat. They are highly specialized and surprisingly fragile. 7 inches of sharp, flattened bone. They were prone to snapping if they hit bone or were twisted. The Smilodon knew this. Its entire hunting strategy was built around creating the perfect moment to use them. With the prey immobilized, the Smilodon opens its jaw to an incredible, almost unbelievable angle over 120 degrees, nearly double that of a modern lion. This is necessary to clear the huge fangs. Then, with a precise and practiced movement, it drives the sabers deep into the soft, vulnerable throat of the sloth. But was the Smilodon always a solo hunter? The evidence is fascinating. Fossil finds at places like the Labrie tar pits in Los Angeles show large numbers of Smilodon remains, including many with healed injuries, fractured bones, worn teeth. How could an animal unable to hunt survive long enough for its bones to mend? This suggests a social structure, perhaps similar to a lion pride. Imagine the terrifying strategy: one cat initiating the attack, while others move in to help wrestle the giant to the ground. A team of specialized assassins working in deadly harmony. Once the kill is made, the feast begins. The Smilodon's specialized teeth were great for killing, but not so great for crunching through bone. But it is never truly alone. The scent of a fresh kill travels far on the Ice Age wind, and soon the scavengers arrive. Dire wolves, a heavier and more powerful cousin of the modern gray wolf, gather at a respectful distance, their pack instincts telling them to wait their turn. High above, the massive Teratorns, giant condor-like birds with 12-foot wingspans, circle in the sky, patient observers in this drama of life and death. Even the short-faced bear, a true giant that dwarfed the Smilodon, might be drawn to the promise of a free meal, potentially leading to a titanic confrontation over the prize. For tens of thousands of years, the saber-toothed tiger reigned as the apex ambush predator of the Americas. It was a perfect killing machine, exquisitely adapted to its environment and its prey. But like the ice that defined its world, its time was destined to melt away. As the climate warmed and the megafauna it depended on, the mammoths, the sloths, the ancient bison vanished, so too did the Smilodon. Its hyper-specialization, once its greatest strength, became its fatal weakness. It couldn't adapt. Today, all that remains are its fossilized bones and those iconic, terrifying fangs. They are a silent testament to a lost world, and to the incredible power of one of the most formidable predators ever to walk the earth. The ghost of the Ice Age, a master of the patient, deadly ambush. Thanks for watching. If you want to explore more stories from our planet's incredible past, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more adventures into the prehistoric world. See you next time. Step back in time to an era ruled by giants, the Pleistocene, a world of mammoths, ground sloths, and one of the most fearsome predators ever to walk the earth, the saber-toothed cat, Smilodon. Forget everything you think you know about this prehistoric icon. We're about to uncover the real story behind those legendary fangs. Its stocky, muscular frame was engineered for ambush and overwhelming force. Imagine a predator weighing up to 800 pounds, with a low center of gravity and immensely powerful forelimbs. And then there are the teeth. Those famous canines, up to 7 inches long, were not for show. They were precision instruments of death. But they were also surprisingly fragile, prone to breaking if they hit bone. This tells us Smilodon had to be an incredibly intelligent hunter, using its immense strength to pin down its prey before delivering a carefully aimed fatal bite to the soft throat or belly. It was a strategy of brute force combined with deadly precision. For decades, we pictured Smilodon as a solitary hunter, a lone wanderer of the ancient plains. But fossil evidence from sites like the Labrie tar pits in Los Angeles paints a very different picture. The sheer number of Smilodon fossils found there, alongside the remains of their prey, has sparked a fascinating debate. Why would so many of these top predators end up in the same sticky trap? One compelling theory suggests a social structure. Perhaps they lived in groups, much like modern lions. a group would have been better equipped to take down the megafauna of the Ice Age creatures, like bison and even young mammoths. The presence of healed injuries on many Smilodon skeletons, including broken bones and deep gashes, supports this idea. An animal with such a severe injury would have struggled to hunt alone. Survival would have been almost impossible without a social group to provide food and protection during recovery. This suggests a level of cooperation and social bonding we once thought impossible for this ancient beast. Imagine the scene: a matriarch, her face a roadmap of old scars, leading the hunt. Younger members learning by watching, herding massive prey towards the stronger, more experienced adults. This wasn't just a pack. It could have been a family, a pride. They would have shared kills, cared for the injured, and raised their young together. Life for a Smilodon cub would have been a masterclass in survival. They were likely born blind and helpless, dependent on their mother's protection, but they would grow quickly. Play would have been a crucial part of their education, a way to practice the skills needed for the hunt. Stalking, pouncing, wrestling with their siblings, every game was a lesson. Teaching them to use those giant canines without breaking them would have been one of the most important lessons of all. Of course, a social life isn't always peaceful. Like any top predator, territory would have been everything. A prime hunting ground was worth fighting for, and encounters between rival groups would have been intense, violent affairs. We can picture two massive males, roaring and posturing, muscles bunched, fangs bared. These weren't just displays. They were deadly serious negotiations. A battle between two Smilodons would have been a terrifying spectacle of claws and teeth, a brutal fight for dominance and the right to pass on their genes. The scars found on so many fossils are a testament to this violent side of their lives. So, was Smilodon a solitary monster or a social strategist? The truth is likely somewhere in the middle. Perhaps their social structure was flexible, more like a loose association than a tightly knit lion pride. Maybe they came together to hunt large prey or during mating season, but lived more solitary lives the rest of the time. This debate highlights just how much we're still learning about these incredible animals. They weren't just mindless killing machines. Their dominance was absolute. For thousands of years, Smilodon sat at the very top of the food chain. Its presence would have cast a shadow of fear over the entire landscape. Other predators would have scattered at its approach. Herbivores would have been in a constant state of alert. Its roar, likely a deep, rumbling sound, would have been a declaration of power that echoed across the plains. It was a reign of terror, but also a vital part of a balanced ecosystem. Yet, despite their incredible success, their reign came to an end. Around 10,000 years ago, Smilodon vanished. Why? The changing climate at the end of the last ice age played a huge role. As their prey died out, so did the ultimate predator. The arrival of a new, highly adaptable predator humans likely sealed their fate, as we competed for the same dwindling resources. The story of the saber-toothed cat is a powerful reminder of how even the most dominant species can be brought down by a changing world. It's a tale of power, intelligence, and survival against the odds. It's the story of a complex social life, of family, and of brutal conflict. Smilodon wasn't just a monster with big teeth. It was one of the most successful and awe-inspiring predators the world has ever seen. Its bones, preserved in tar and stone, continue to tell a story of an ancient world, a world ruled by the saber-tooth. and it's a story we are still working to fully understand. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into prehistory, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more adventures into our planet's incredible past. See you next time. A world of giants, where colossal mammoths and lumbering ground sloths roamed vast, open plains. And ruling over this kingdom of titans was a predator unlike any other, the saber-toothed tiger, Smilodon fatalis, with its iconic 7-inch canine teeth. This was not just a cat, it was a living legend, an apex predator perfectly engineered for its time. For thousands of years, Smilodon thrived, a symbol of raw, untamed power. But the world, as it always does, was changing. The story of its demise is not just about a single species, but a cautionary tale of adaptation, competition, and the relentless march of time. This is the story of how the Ice Age king lost its crown. The late Pleistocene epoch, a period stretching from about 126,000 to roughly 12,000 years ago, was Smilodon's golden age. This wasn't your average lion or tiger. It was built like a bear, with a powerful, stocky body, short, muscular legs, and a bobtail. Its entire anatomy was designed for ambush and overwhelming force. Unlike the cheetahs of today, which rely on speed, the saber-tooth was a master of the surprise attack. It would lie in wait, concealed in low vegetation, before bursting out to tackle its massive prey. And what prey it was! We're talking about giants, like the Columbian mammoth, the ancient bison, and the enormous ground sloth, Megatherium. These animals were living fortresses, weighing several tons. A bite to the leg wouldn't do. The saber-tooth's strategy was a brutal, high-risk, high-reward gambit. After wrestling its victim to the ground with its immense upper body strength, it would deliver a very precise, fatal bite to the soft throat or belly. Those famous saber teeth were surprisingly fragile and couldn't risk hitting bone. They were more like daggers than can openers, used for a quick, deep shearing slice to sever major blood vessels. It was a specialized hunting style, perfected over millennia, for a world filled with megafauna. But the world it knew was starting to melt. As the last ice age drew to a close, temperatures began to rise. This wasn't a sudden apocalypse, but a gradual, creeping change that reshaped the entire landscape. The vast, open grasslands and cold steppes that Smilodon and its prey called home began to shrink. Glaciers receded, and in their place, dense forests and woodlands began to spread across the continent. This might sound like a good thing, but for the saber-tooth, it was the beginning of the end. The new forests were a completely different hunting ground. Smilodon's ambush strategy, so effective in the open, was hampered by the thick trees and dense undergrowth. It couldn't build up the momentum for its powerful tackles, and its prey could more easily use the forest for cover. More importantly, its primary food source was disappearing. The giant herbivores, the mammoths, mastodons, and ground sloths, were specialists of the cold, open environments. As their habitat vanished, so did they. Their populations dwindled, stressed by the changing climate and the loss of their preferred foods. For the saber-tooth, this meant fewer and fewer opportunities for a meal. Each failed hunt was a massive expenditure of energy that it couldn't afford. The prey that remained were smaller, faster animals like deer and elk. These were animals better suited for the new forested world. But Smilodon was not built for a chase. Its stocky, powerful frame was a disadvantage when pursuing nimble prey through the woods. Its entire evolutionary toolkit was becoming obsolete. The the king of the open plains, was a clumsy amateur in the tangled forest. It was like a heavyweight boxer trying to compete in a marathon. Its greatest strengths had become its most significant weaknesses. The saber-tooth was starving, and as if a changing world and a vanishing food supply weren't enough, a new and formidable competitor arrived on the scene. A competitor that was intelligent, adaptable, and worked together in ways Smilodon had never encountered. That competitor was us, Homo sapiens. Early humans were not the strongest or the fastest animals on the landscape, but they had two revolutionary advantages: fire and sophisticated tools. They wielded long, sharp spears that could be thrown from a distance, a tactic that fundamentally changed the rules of the hunt. A saber-tooth had to get up close and personal, risking life and limb with every attack. Humans could injure or kill a giant beast from a safe distance. They were less specialized hunters, capable of taking down a wide variety of prey, from large mammoths to smaller deer, birds, and fish. They weren't tied to the fate of the megafauna. Furthermore, humans were masters of cooperation. They hunted in large, coordinated groups, using strategy and communication to corner and overwhelm animals that a lone predator, even one as powerful as Smilodon, would struggle with. They could drive herds of bison off cliffs or set strategic fires to flush out game. This unprecedented efficiency made them direct and devastating competitors for the saber-tooth's dwindling food supply. Imagine being a saber-toothed tiger, already weakened by hunger. You spend days tracking a lone, old bison, your last chance for a meal in weeks. Just as you prepare to ambush, a group of bipedal apes appears on the ridge. They carry flickering torches and shout in a strange, complex language. They hurl pointed sticks with terrifying accuracy. The bison, your dinner, is brought down before you even have a chance to strike. This scene likely played out time and time again, pushing Smilodon further and further to the brink. Fossil evidence paints a grim picture of the saber-tooth's final days. Studies of their bones from the La Brea tar pits in Los Angeles show a high incidence of injuries, fractures, and arthritis, suggesting a life of brutal struggle. But in the later fossils, from the period just before their extinction, scientists have found even more telling signs. They see evidence of severe dental disease and bone scarcity, classic indicators of starvation and malnutrition. These were animals that were not just struggling, they were wasting away. The tar pits, which were once a successful hunting trap for them, became their final resting place, a graveyard documenting their slow, agonizing decline. The extinction of the saber-toothed tiger around 10,000 years ago was not a single event. It was a perfect storm of climate change, habitat loss, the disappearance of its specialized prey, and overwhelming competition from a new, highly intelligent predator. Smilodon was an incredible creature, perfectly adapted to a world that no longer existed. It was a specialist in an age that suddenly demanded generalists. Its story is a powerful reminder that no matter how dominant a species may be, it is never immune to the forces of change. The Ice Age king couldn't adapt, and so it vanished, leaving behind only its fossilized bones and its legendary, fearsome smile, a silent monument to a lost world. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into our planet's incredible past. Let me know in the comments what ancient creature you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious. Imagine an ancient world, a land carved by ice and time. A lone predator stalks the plains. This is the last of its kind, the final saber-toothed tiger. Its magnificent fangs, once a symbol of supreme power, now glisten under a setting sun. The air is still, too still. The thunderous herds of bison and mammoth that once shook this ground have vanished. The silence is a heavy blanket, broken only by the whisper of the wind through dry grass. For this perfect hunter, the world has become a ghost town. Each step is a heavy one, a search for prey that no longer exists. Its powerful muscles, built for the takedown of giants, now ache with hunger. The world it knew, the world it was perfectly adapted to conquer, has changed around it, leaving it behind. This isn't a battle lost to a rival. It's a slow, silent fade into extinction, a final, lonely breath in a world that has moved on without it. Now, let's fast forward tens of thousands of years to our world. In the heart of modern-day Los Angeles, a sticky, black substance bubbles to the surface. This is the La Brea tar pits, a natural asphalt seep that has been trapping life for millennia. For scientists, this isn't just tar, it's a time capsule. With careful hands and meticulous tools, they unearth the secrets of that lost world. They pull out bones, stained dark by the asphalt, but perfectly preserved. A curved, blade-like tooth, nearly a foot long, a massive, powerful jaw. The thick, sturdy leg bones of a predator built like a tank. Slowly, piece by piece, the ghost of the Ice Age begins to take shape. These bones tell a story. In labs and museums, paleontologists become detectives. They scan the fossils, measure them, and compare them to living animals. They piece together the puzzle, reconstructing the skeleton of Smilodon fatalis *. We see its low-slung, powerful build, more like a bear than a modern cat. Its short tail tells us it wasn't a chaser, but an ambusher. Its immense neck and shoulder muscles were the engine for its most lethal weapon, those iconic saber teeth. These weren't for slicing flesh like a knife. Instead, they were used for a devastating killing bite, severing the windpipe and major blood vessels of its massive prey in a single, powerful clamp. Through this scientific resurrection, we get to meet the saber-toothed tiger, not as a monster, but as a marvel of evolution. For millions of years, Smilodon was the apex predator of the Americas. It was a masterpiece of carnivorous design, the undisputed king of its domain. It faced down Columbian mammoths, giant ground sloths, and ancient bison. Its social structure, likely living in groups similar to modern lions, allowed it to hunt cooperatively, taking down prey many times its own size. Fossil evidence from La Brea shows healed injuries on some skeletons, suggesting that these cats cared for the wounded and sick members of their pride. They weren't just killing machines. They were complex, social animals that dominated a harsh and unforgiving landscape. They were, by all accounts, perfect predators. So, what went wrong? How could such a successful and powerful animal simply disappear? The answer lies not with the predator, but with its world. As the last ice age came to an end, around 11,000 years ago, the climate began to warm rapidly. The vast, open grasslands and savannas started to shrink, replaced by dense forests. The great ice sheets retreated, and the entire ecosystem was thrown into chaos. This environmental shift had a catastrophic effect on the megafauna, the giant herbivores that Smilodon depended on. The mammoths, The mastodons, the giant sloths, their food sources disappeared, and they began to die out. For the saber-toothed tiger, this was a death sentence. Its entire anatomy, its hunting strategy, its very existence was tied to this giant prey. Imagine a master locksmith whose keys suddenly no longer fit any lock in the world. That was Smilodon asterisk. Its massive build and specialized killing technique were perfect for big game, but they were clumsy and inefficient for hunting the smaller, faster animals like deer that thrived in the new forests. Other predators, like the ancestors of modern wolves and cougars, were more adaptable. They were generalists, able to switch their diets and hunting styles. The saber-toothed tiger was a specialist, and its specialty had just gone extinct. The very traits that had made it a supreme ruler for so long now became its fatal weakness. It was too slow, too specialized, and too dependent on a world that was vanishing before its eyes. The final days were likely bleak. The prides would have fractured, the cooperative hunts failing. Individuals, weakened by starvation, would have wandered alone, searching for a meal that would never come. The roars that once echoed across the plains, a sound of dominance, would have faded into silence. It's a powerful and humbling lesson. The story of the saber-toothed tiger teaches us that no amount of strength, power, or evolutionary perfection can guarantee survival. When the world changes, the only thing that matters is the ability to adapt. Smilodon was not a failure. It was a stunning success story that simply ran out of time. Its reign was ended not by a stronger predator, but by the unstoppable force of a changing planet. As we look back at this incredible creature, we see more than just a fossil. We see a warning. The same forces of climate change and habitat loss that sealed Smilodon's fate are at play today, accelerated by human activity. The story of the last saber-toothed tiger wandering a dying world is a mirror reflecting our own potential future. It's a reminder that the world we depend on is fragile, and the creatures we share it with are precious. The empty ice-aged plain, fading into darkness, is not just an ending for a magnificent predator. It is a timeless message, echoing from the past, urging us to learn from it before our own world changes in ways we cannot overcome. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, consider subscribing for more journeys into our planet's incredible past.